And then Jefferson, the second quote on Jefferson is really important. Because Jefferson understood power so well, he knew that even he couldn't be trusted with it. So he said, if once the people become inattentive to the public affairs, you and I, and Congress and assemblies and judges and governors shall all become wolves. It seems to be the law of our general nature in spite of individual exceptions. He realized that even he couldn't be trusted. In other words, the only safeguard was the constant vigilance of the people. What he calls here attentiveness. People need to be attentive to any surrogate that they create. I think the most important book you can read is Creature from Jekyll Island, Second Look at the Federal Reserve by G. Edward Griffin, the man pictured here. It's a book that everyone needs to read because it really tells the whole story. I don't have time to go into all the details of how this is structured, but he explains how this happened, who has what to gain by destroying this country and destroying the founding principles it was based on. Because it's been a concerted effort to put us into a situation where our power is reduced as a nation, our power is reduced as individuals, and the power of the international government is increased. And that is a concerted effort by the same group of people who created the Federal Reserve. Mr. Griffin and I became friends when we were speaking together in Las Vegas a few years ago, actually back in the 90s. And he would speak at 9 o'clock in the morning at this educational conference that we had every month. And then I would speak after him, this talk I did on the history of taxes and civilization. And then we would have till 5 o'clock till we were on a panel together to talk. And we talked about how these groups that, created international government and are intent upon destroying America and American sovereignty, what their motivation is. They're already extraordinarily wealthy, extraordinarily powerful. But he said a couple things. One, people who are powerful want more power. It is a drug. It is just like a drug. And the other thing is they're bred and educated to believe that they are an elite and that they deserve to rule, and that you and I are just like sheep. We're like animals that need to be ruled. We can't be trusted to run this world without them. And this is a quote from Edward L. Bernays, who is considered the father of modern public relations. He lived for 100 years. He invented scientific polls, or polls to be used as propaganda for trying to get affect public opinion with polls. All these things. The big lie theory, that was Edward L. Bernays. He taught that to Goebbels and Hitler. He was an aide, an advisor to them during World War II. Very powerful man, lived for a long time, very influential, and one of the ruling elite. And he felt that the leaders needed to protect the people from their primitive animal-like selves. Their role to create man-made gods who assert subtle social control to bring order out of chaos. So that's how a lot of these people think. And America was based on the idea that we didn't need ruling elites telling us how to live our lives, that the people knew how to live their own lives, and that the power should be with the people at the local level. So, in our republic, we basically believe a couple of things. These are fundamental basic beliefs that almost are universal within the people that are joining this republic. And one is that we believe that the Declaration of Independence and our founding documents as conceived, if administered as conceived, would return America back to a freedom and prosperity that cannot be fully comprehended today. We believe at this point in history it's we the people who can save our nation, and we need to save it one by one from the bottom up. And the key is reestablishing the common law-based grand juries in every county. And that's what's happening. That's what's really exciting about this movement. The grand juries can do a whole lot. I want to talk a little bit about common law. First of all, there's 99 counties in Iowa. The immediate goal is to establish these grand juries in each county. This is not the kind of jury duty that you're trying to get out of, okay? This is a completely different thing. These grand juries are the courts of the people. They were invented a long time ago to stand between a ruthless tyrant, king or queen or whatever, and the people, and protect them from arbitrary rule and arbitrary law. And if you want to become a juror, there's a jural covenant that we would ask you to sign. It needs to be witnessed by 3 people. And it's a very serious thing, being part of the grand jury. The Fifth Amendment is what gives us the right to have a grand jury as it existed in common law. But you have to know, you have to understand that 50, 60 years ago, the grand jury was common in every state. Grand juries, common law grand juries. They've been pretty well wiped out of most states. And, but it is our right under the Fifth Amendment to create these grand juries. And even if they've changed their state constitution to say that they don't need a grand jury, that doesn't take away our right, common law right, to have a grand jury. This is what some people are saying about the grand juries that want to get rid of them. Quote, under modern conditions, a grand jury is antiquated, superfluous, and well-nigh useless. Obviously, that's coming from people that are proponents of ruler's law. They don't want the grand juries, but they can't stop us from creating them. Joining the Republic of the United States of America, if you just want to join and sign the form called Declaration of Sovereign Rights held by Indigenous Power, that's great. If you want to take the next step and become a juror, then you sign the jural covenant. A few of the benefits you can expect once our republic is fully established: no more income taxes. The Constitution says no direct taxes. There can be no income tax. No more property taxes. That's a direct tax too. No more fiat worthless money. Freedom to travel. Freedom to be born and married without a license, government number, or registration. No more victimless crime. Perpetrators must restore their victims' losses. Restitution. No more encroachments by government on your unalienable rights. And much, much, much more. But that's just a taste of what it would be like when we restore our republic. So, just a couple points of review on Indigenous power. It's that source of Indigenous power that is that aspect of you that is universal. It's our true soul. It is divine love in its essence. The knowledge of this truth is basic to all traditions. It's universal. An individual acting from a state of fully developed Indigenous power is invincible. Sovereign individual. When we have these rights, we need to be responsible. With rights and freedom goes responsibility. If we're going to have more freedom, people are going to have to act very responsibly. You're going to have to be responsible to help people in their communities because we don't want government to take on that role. We want to be able to do it ourselves in a non-coercive manner. So all of those of us in the restored public offer to all Americans true liberty, freedom, justice for all, and the full restoration of their Indigenous power. We offer this to you now. You're invited to join the Republic. And this is the last statement in Common Sense Revisited. When the power of love exceeds the love of power, the world will know peace, prosperity, and freedom. Creative solutions to our problems will occur spontaneously and naturally from the bottom up. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening.